Sammy, I don't see you wearing a hat. What's going on, man? You always wear a hat. What could be the reason you're not wearing a hat right now?
Well, you know the reason, but let me talk to the people. We had a little bet last episode. I'm a man of my word. So what I was actually sent via Amazon, aka the devil, was this. Some I guess would say nice, others would say a piece of shit. Representation of the Notre Dame University that I'm going to rock on my head. You could call it a hat for the rest of the show. So I guess I'll just break this thing
That's
on
what
out
it looks
here.
like. Oh, man, it looks great. I gotta move my little screen out of the way. You look fantastic.
I look defeated. That's what I look like. That's what I look
And
like. I look like a man who lost a bet.
yeah, and to clarify the bet a little, I want the hat, so I was like, I'll buy the hat, but you gotta wear it on the first show. So Sammy's gonna send it back to me, but you look great.
I look like I put my foot in my mouth by going with the fucking Trojans. I don't know what I was thinking.
Mm.
USC is a train wreck, but that you guys almost still lost to. So
Well, something got put in your mouth this weekend. Welcome to the Sports Savage. I'm your host from sunny Los Angeles, California, and I'm joined by smooth talking Sammy from Orlando, Florida, and he's looking great. Say what's up, Sammy.
yo, sports world, savage life. What's happening?
Uh, Clarify, we're supposed to do an audio only show. Sammy had something to do Sunday night. I had something to do Monday night, so it just didn't go through. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it in the favor of the fans. We get 10 likes on this video. We'll do an audio only show. We'll do the reactions. You'll get our takes on all the games because this Friday show is mainly. Yeah, you better fix that hat. This Friday is mainly just the big stories and all that kind of stuff. Thursday night football. Kansas City won. I'm not sure anybody was shocked by the outcome. Patrick Mahomes went down. He had a knee injury. I don't know how bad it is. I'm officially retiring from fantasy football. I'm done. He was my starting quarterback in my pay league. I'm 0-6 in that league. That's neither here nor there. Broncos, I don't even want to say they rolled the dice on Flacco. I think, for whatever reason, they got coaxed into thinking he might be able to get them to a playoff berth. Broncos have a great defense, especially their line. Kansas City with Tyreek Hill, I mean, he's a game changer. And they did it with Matt. I want to score more. Sammy, what's the climate in Kansas City and what's the climate in Denver right now?
So what I'm hearing is a dislocated right knee. They're having the MRI scheduled for tomorrow, so we'll have a lot more as far as the future of the Kansas City Chiefs by our next episode. But I mean, the real story is Denver. You're at home. You're facing a backup quarterback with a suspect defense all season going into this game, and you can't move the ball down the field. I feel like this may be the end of Joe Flacco as far as his last season. And just shout out to my Ravens for being ahead of the curve on that. He's just the type of quarterback where he needs everything to go right for him to play well. And that's just not life where things are going to consistently work out in your favor. So he's definitely capable of some magic, but it may be delegated to that backup role after this season. If you're Kansas City, Andy Reid looked like an offensive genius as far as being able to still put up points, which he did score a single touchdown after Patrick Mahomes went down. Hopefully, this game gives your defense some confidence. They did, I believe, come close to their franchise record in sacks, going double digits tonight. So you're still confident riding high if you're Kansas City sneaking out of Denver with a win. But the bigger question is John Elway on the hot seat? How many quarterbacks do you get before you question what type of general manager you are?
He just shouldn't be allowed to pick quarterbacks anymore. I mean, you get Peyton Manning, which is, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. And then he goes with all these tall quarterbacks, the traditional one. NFL is changing. Okay, look at all the starting quarterbacks. Tell me 5 of them that aren't mobile. And if they're 5, they're probably a backup or something like that. You got to move. You got to be able to get out of the pocket. You got to be able to scramble. defensive end is probably the second. Like if you're building a team, quarterback, defensive end, offensive line, defensive back. I mean, you got to rush the quarterback. If you can get in the quarterback's face, I mean, it changes the whole game. Kansas City, you're playing with, shoestrings and bubblegum right now. Everybody's hurt. Can you survive? Can you make it out? We'll see their next games coming up. Packers, Vikings. That's the next two games. I mean, they could easily lose both of those games. Then they have Titans, which they can probably win. Chargers, they could win on any given day. Raiders, we don't know about them. At the Patriots. So we're going to find out what they can do with, if Patrick Mahomes can't play or not. But Denver, I mean, get back to the drawing board. See if you can get Tua. See if you can get the dude from Oregon. That's probably who they're going to go for since he's 6'7" and all that jazz.
But yeah, the larger story, again, is definitely going to be Denver. This is going to be a lost season. You bring Joe Flacco in. I believe he's on a multi-year deal. So if you are drafting high, you definitely probably would go quarterback of the future, even though you just brought this guy in. So my bigger question is just how much leash do you give a guy like John Elway? Definitely if he didn't have that Super Bowl ring Peyton delivered to him, as well as that defense, he would definitely, I feel like, be on a hotter seat. But he's kind of a made man in Denver, and that Super Bowl ring kind of just solidified it.
Quickly, let's talk about the Green Bay game that happened. I mean, how jobbed did Detroit get? Did you watch that game? Did you see those penalties? I mean, they were just crucial penalties. And it's like, how is there no one that can call in and say, hey, that wasn't a foul. That wasn't hands to the face. That was pass interference. I hate the Packers, and they keep getting these cheap wins, and I was rooting for Detroit the whole time. If I was a Detroit fan, I would have been absolutely livid.
Yeah, if you're the officiating for the NFL, you had a lot of questions to answer this weekend. I don't think they did a good job of it, just pretty much saying, human error is going to be taking place within any sport these days, and that's understandable. But for the same human error to happen on the same drive to the same player is unacceptable. So I don't understand why we're not going with that eye in the sky or putting a referee in the skybox who can review these plays, just like how they sent it off to New York. I don't understand why we're not moving towards that, just to kind of eliminate the human error, or do your best to do so with these games that are pretty costly, not only for the owners and the players, but the fans as well. There's a lot of money circulating in the gambling these days. So if you're Detroit or anybody who had the Lions in that game, you got hosed on some bullshit, to be quite honest with you. And the reasoning for it is unacceptable as far as it's human error. So what can we do to get rid of that error? And I don't feel like the NFL is taking any steps to do that.
Let me ask you this. Do we need referees with all these cameras we have? Do we need referees on the field to look at it when we can just have them in a booth and each guy, maybe the referees, maybe we just have people with cameras, on their head or something like that, but they don't make any of the calls. We can see everything from above, it's almost a disadvantage to ref the game from a ground level. Yeah, you can kind of see like what's going on, but we can see everything from above. So why don't we just go to the eye in the sky for all the penalties?
Yeah, I can't agree with that. I can't say that a few decades down the line from now, referees are going to be looked at as antiques or a thing of the past, simply because technology has surpassed the human eye. But with that being said, it's humans out there playing the game, so I could definitely understand that human element. I'm more so for intertwining the two. Why not use technology to benefit us? Everybody's having a knee-jerk reaction from that NFC Championship game with the Rams and the Saints and that blatant pass interference call. So that's bringing a lot of this bullshit up, but it's not to correct the problems, more so to save face for a huge mistake that was made a year ago. So to correct the problems would be to have that eye in the sky, to put that referee in the box so he can review things instantly and get the correct calls back down to the field.
Get him out. Get him out of here. I don't want to see anymore. All they do is wear tight shirts and work out so they can flex when they say first down and all this kind of stuff. I'm done.
And fix games. Don't forget about that.
All right, so there were some big trades. Well, actually just a big trade for the most part. The big kahuna, Jalen Ramsey
Oh,
is out of Jacksonville. I thought he was going to stay there, but I guess not. The Jags get a first-round pick in 2020, 2021, as well as a fourth-round pick in 2021. Also, Marcus Peters got traded to the Baltimore Ravens on Tuesday. I mean, who won big? Who won bigger, in your opinion? Jags or Jalen Ramsey?
oh, it's Ramsey all day. He got the fuck out of Duval County. He got exactly what he wanted, and now it's just gonna see if he's gonna reset the cornerback or secondary player market with that payday that he's due from the Rams. So it took a lot of nerve for a guy like Ramsey to make the move that he made by pretty much forcing his way out of Jacksonville while under contract. You had the owner coming out saying that we're not trading Jalen Ramsey, and don't get me wrong, Jacksonville postured it as best as you could, but you don't really want to trade for draft picks to pick players like Jalen Ramsey. So they definitely didn't want to get rid of him, but to receive 2 first rounders, I don't think you're going to get more than that for premium talent these days. That's kind of the market. But yeah, if you're Jalen Ramsey, you won. If you're the Rams, this is necessary. You got to leave on IR. Again, as you mentioned, you traded your number 2 corner to a playoff contending team in the Baltimore Ravens. So you're weak at secondary if you're the Rams. So not only does this make the splash, but it makes an immediate impact as far as you having at least one shutdown corner.
And I am a fan of trading for a known commodity, right? Because, I mean, how often do first-round picks pan out? Half the NFL is undrafted. You know, a lot of these guys didn't even get drafted. I just said that twice, but like, you don't know. Like, is there another Jalen Ramsey in this draft? Probably not. Is there going to be one next year? Probably not. I mean, Jalen Ramsey is a great talent. And I don't know if that's going to solve all the issues for the Rams. Jared Goff still is not playing well. Their offensive line is not blocking well. Todd Gurley made out like a bandit. I'm going to get paid, and I'm just going to sit on the bench for some kind of weird injury that nobody – I mean, that's very, I don't know what's going on with that. But, we're in the era now that players say, I want to play here. You make it happen, and then it happens. Especially – but, I mean, you can't do that. If I'm Matt Moore, I can't say, yeah, but if I'm Jalen Ramsey, if I'm like a top 2 corner, of course I can say where I want to go. Marcus Peters goes to Baltimore. Your Ravens. How do you feel about that?
Oh man, it was necessary. Our secondary is torn apart by injury with our number 2 cornerback Jimmy Smith going down in the first game and losing a couple safeties to IR in back-to-back games. So it definitely has an immediate impact as far as our cornerbacks having Marlon Humphrey, one of the more slept-on shutdown corners in the league, on one side, and putting Peters, who's more of a gambler, but if you leave him in man, he's able to make plays, which I believe our coordinator, Wink Martindale, is aware of. So I think it's an all-in bet for Lamar Jackson. This is definitely an endorsement of what he's been able to do this season, and it's the management having faith in our coaching staff to take a chance on a guy who's going to be a free agent next year anyway. So there's really a low risk, high reward type of situation where we get a premium cornerback on a last year of his deal who wants to prove himself to get paid by us or someone else. So you gotta like the direction that the GM Eric DeCosta has the Ravens going in.
Just to throw this in, Vikes are back. Sorry, Diggs 3 touchdowns. As long as Diggs is happy, everybody's happy. That's what I think as the temperature in the locker room. We're going to shift towards boxing. Patrick Day, boxer, he got killed. Not in the fight, but from injuries he suffered in the fight. It was a 10-round knockout loss. He died in the hospital. This is a hot take. Boxing is never hotter than when someone gets killed after they fight. Because no one really cares about boxing, but if they find out someone got killed, it's the hot topic of the month. Sad, but you know what? It's the Roman Coliseum. We've done it our whole lives, our whole existence. We wanted to see people mutilate each other, kill each other, hit each other, all that kind of stuff. What does this mean to you as far as sports, boxing, everything in between?
I mean, it's tragic, but at the same time, it's what you sign up for. So, as you said, it's definitely something poetic, something of a theater to watch two men sit down in that square circle and take their fisticuffs and throw them at each other with all their might. And people will pay big money just to sit around and watch it, depending on the talent level. So again, it's definitely sad for the person who lost their life, but it's definitely not anything sadder than that happened last week. This is just like you said, something that's polarizing because it's boxing. So it's not going to continue, I say per se, with fighting itself. But I'll say this: you had a guy in Deontay Wilder who faced a lot of speculation or a lot of criticism, I should say, for his comments before a fight where he said he wanted to kill his opponent. He wanted a murder on his rep, I should say, in the ring. And he had some backlash for that, and I never understood that because isn't that not what the people want? To quote the Gladiator, are we not entertained? So when it actually happens, it's RIP, it's so sad. But with that being said, everyone watching that fight was hoping for something to happen. It just happened after the fight. So
My question to you, what if like someone got killed in the NFL? Like let's say there was like a huge hit, broke some guy's spine or something like that, and like he dies. I mean, what do you think the backlash? Because I mean, no one cares about boxing; it's not a big deal. But if someone died in football or basketball or something, I don't know if it would happen in basketball, but football it's more likely with head-to-head hits. 250 people who weigh 250 can run 4.5s, 4.4s, and crush into people. I mean, what do you think the backlash would be then if it was in football?
okay, so I got a hot take here. Tom Brady dies. Drew Brees dies. Patrick Mahomes dies. Might take a week off. Might be some ceremonies. Mason Rudolph dies. What's my guy for Carolina right now? Kevin. Yeah, I can't. That's sad. I can't remember his name. He dies.
Point.
You know what I'm saying? If we get a third stringer out there, if we get a gunner on kick return that takes a bad angle and somehow unfortunately loses his life, that game probably is postponed for a couple of hours. But they finished that game, I believe. The NFL is a machine. It's a system. They literally sign contracts in this shit. And I believe with these high-priced lawyers, they will put in these contracts these days that you could face serious or life-threatening injuries being out there on that field. So don't get me wrong. If a high name profile or a rating mover type of player so happened lost his life out there on the field, there would definitely be a moment of mourning that could extend to some time frame or a lengthy time frame, I should say. But if someone random or someone who we're not aware of or someone whose jersey sales aren't that high were to unfortunately meet their demise on the field, it'll be sad for a few moments. They'll definitely get a good amount of commercial breaks in there, but then they'll also finish that game.
Because I think the closest we have to that is like a Ryan Shazier type guy, who got like, completely, his life has changed. And I've said this before, we need to quit pumping rainbows into this guy's ass that he's going to play again, because he's not, okay? Look, he can do a squat, and, the only way he's going to play again is if it's like one of those things where a special need guy, they give him the ball and he scores a touchdown. That's really the only way he's going to play again. And honestly, like if we really want to make the game safer, this is my hot take to you, Sammie. Get rid of pads. Get rid of helmets. Because you are not going to run into a guy full steam ahead if you got no pads on, if you got no helmet on. You're going to protect your body a little more. You're going to have a little more technique. You're going to have a little more leverage. You're not just going to want to launch yourself into somebody. Would it be as exciting with the pads? Probably not. We wouldn't get as many big hits. But I would guarantee that concussions would go down, safety would go up. That's just my take.
This is America, boy. You ain't playing no fucking rugby here. That's my response.
That's kind of what it is.
Definitely safer, but yeah, no, I'm watching no fucking rugby.
We're gonna go to baseball. There's no Tony's baseball roundup. Excuse me. He is out. He's out in North Carolina fishing and doing all kinds of other stuff.
Oh, vacation. Okay.
So the Nats are going to the World Series. Okay, no one, that apparently they have the best pitching. So their starting pitching is apparently the best, and they say pitching wins, World Series because they're the main guy. They're the guy throwing the heat. Now it's down to the Yankees and the Astros. Houston leads 3-1. They won tonight 8-3. Does it matter to you who the Nationals play, the Astros or the Yankees?
I don't give a shit. To be honest with you, I'm riding with the Nats, not off of what I know about baseball, not off of what I know about any particular player on the Nats. It's one player that has me motivated for the Nationals to win, and he doesn't even play for them anymore, and it's Bryce Harper. Oh my God, I would love to see the reaction of that young man if the team he just left wins the World Series without him. It would just be poetic justice. I don't really have any issue with Bryce either. From what I hear, he's a bit of a spoiled athlete, but who isn't when you make millions of dollars to play a kid's game? But it's just so crazy how better they got after he left. It's uncanny if he was supposed to be such that good of a player. You like to see the Yankees just for the Nationals to beat the Yankees. I feel like that would be a funny story. Just because everybody fucking loves the Yankees for whatever reason. But if we're going, if I'm putting my analyst hat on, I believe that the Astros have the best pitching left in the playoffs. So with that being said, like you said, you definitely lean on your pitching in the playoffs if I know anything about baseball. So if I had to put money on it, I would say Houston, as long as their top three aces stay healthy, can pull it out. But I'm definitely pulling for the Nationals to pull off some kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, I'm on the same page, honestly. I think advertisers want the Yankees. DC versus New York would probably be a little bigger than DC Houston. Like you. Who cares? So LeBron, my boy, LeBron, my Lakers, and I have my Clippers. I guess I can't say, I don't know. Can I say, can they both be mine at one time, or do I have to stick with one for a week and commit to it?
Yeah, man, you can't be a whore. I mean, you could be a preseason whore, but once the season starts, you can't be a whore. So,
you gotta. Whore. I'll admit it. I'm a preseason whore. LeBron said he talked about the Daryl Morey tweet. He said he wasn't educated on the situation at hand. He immediately tweeted after that, "Let me clear up the confusion. I do not believe there was any consideration for the consequences and ramifications of the tweet. I'm not discussing the substance. Others can talk about that. My team and this league just went through a difficult week. I think people need to understand what a tweet or statement can do to others, and I believe nobody stopped and considered what would happen. Could have waited a week to send it. I've listened to the pundits on this one, and they're like, well, he's kind of right because, why would he say that right before they're about to go to China? My thing is NBA is evil, and they want all that money, and they don't care about workers' rights in China. They just want that cash. Put your money where your mouth is." LeBron taking even more shit because he retweeted the Martin Luther King tweet. I forget what it was exactly. I'll put it up on the screen. Look, if I'm $1 million empire, $1 billion empire, I'm going to say whatever it takes to keep that money, and people can look at you differently. Garrett, right now, making the money I make now, yeah, I don't think, we should play in China. They treat their people like shit, but we still want that money. LeBron, is he right? Is he wrong? Is he in the middle?
He's a wealthy businessman trying to save face. LeBron James is a perfect example, at least with these recent comments, of attempting to play both sides. And no one likes someone trying to play both sides. So he's trying to do the right thing by the NBA and shun in a way Daryl Morey for his comments. But with that being said, he never took the time out to at least recognize what Morey was expressing was the just message. And if you have LeBron James, who's attempting to live in the shadow of a Muhammad Ali, of a Jim Brown, as far as his political stance, He had a good opportunity to do one of two things: either come out and say the right thing and not maybe back Dale Morey, but just come out and with a simple statement like, I stand for human rights for everyone, and it's sad what's going on in the world. But with that being said, I stand behind the NBA, and I love my relationship with China. Instead, he tried to take the high road on Morey, and it went wrong because you can't say anything about what Morey said other than it was some awkward ass timing. So instead of just leaving it at that, he decided to try to, I don't want to say take shots at Morey, but just more so take the high road, like you weren't there simply because the Lakers were overseas. So LeBron was in China while it happened. So there are some security things there. But just like you said, there's so much money being made between China and the NBA. If there's any NBA player who was safe in fucking China, it's LeBron James. So yeah, he just looks bad in today's world where people live to point out your contradictions. So he could have played it a lot smarter. I think he bit off more than he could chew while he had some cameras in his face.
All right, so we got no emails, but
What the fuck?
so 10 likes, we'll do a reaction show. Send an email. You could tweet me, Instagram me, Garrett W Savage. That's it. That's the bottom line. You got anything else to say, Mr. Sammie?
No, man, in this fucking show, peace, I'm not a crook. I gotta get this fucking stupid ass hat off my head, send it to California. Fuck Notre Dame, fuck USC. Never bet on either one of these fucks ever again, man. But yeah, other than that, shout out to all the fans. Keep looking at us. Not a crook, Savage. Like, we out.
All right, we're out of here. Bye.